All right, how many of y'all have ever played basketball? Okay. How many of y'all at least know what basketball is? How many of y'all like, yay, sports? Okay. Now, one thing that you need to know about me is I don't play nobody's sports, all right? Honestly, the only thing that dribbles in my life is the McDonald's ice cream cone dribbling down my face, all right? But I want to tell you about a time about how basketball caused one of the greatest joys in my life and the biggest pains in my life. So this might come to a surprise to some of you all, but before I went to college, I was quiet, I was shy, I was scared to open up. But during my freshman orientation, I had a staff member approach me and say, Justin, I think you would make a great orientation counselor. You should apply next year. And my reaction? Girl, bye. What about quiet, shy, afraid to open up? Do you not understand? But fast forward a year later, I apply to be an orientation counselor, and I get that thing, okay? I get it. So my first year of orientation, it caused me to open up. I matured. Everybody on campus knew who I was, and I wanted more. So when year 2 came around, I applied again. I crushed that thing, and I came on and went on to have a very successful second year of orientation. So much so that at our end of the year banquet, my team voted little old me most dedicated. Okay, Blue? I truly felt like Beyonce. I was on top of the world. Now this section over here is like, man, what this got to do with basketball? You just stay with me, okay? Stay with me. So when year 3 came around, I decided that I wanted to apply to be the highest position on the orientation team, and that was student coordinator. And every year they only offer it to 2 students. And by all means, I'm Beyonce, so who about to say no to me? Okay? So I applied, I crushed it, and so now I'm just waiting for my yes. So about a week later, I get an email, and it says, student coordinator position. This is my Grammy moment. So I open up the email, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Dear Justin, all right, they know who I am. Thank you so much for interviewing with us. But, there's that word but. We are unable to offer you the student coordinator position. Okay, refresh. This is wrong. You're not gonna hire Beyonce? So I immediately need answers. So I storm into the office of our director of orientation. He sits me down and we start to have a conversation. He is telling me the vision and the goals of the new orientation team. And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. So I butt in and I tell him, I say, you know, it's the last few seconds of a basketball game. You're down by 1. Why wouldn't you put in your best shooter? Boot guy, got him. He sits back and he says, Justin, I'm gonna put in my best shooter that can run the play. What? What? Now listen, we do not want to hear no's. When we are applying to our dream school, we want to hear yes. When we're applying to a job, we want to hear yes. When we are going down to the Target and we put our debit card in that machine and they say approve, that's got to be a yes. But this no wasn't just any no. For the first time in 2 years, I had to go back home. And, face some things that I was not willing to face. I told myself after I graduated I would never go back. But that is for another TED Talk. All right? So, I would go on and I would recuperate. I would go on and I would join a fraternity. I would be a RA. I would even graduate with my master's degree in higher education from Western Carolina University. I essentially was trying to prove to myself that I could run the play. Now, 10 years later, I would get the opportunity to prove that I could run the play. So a position opened up in my alma mater for assistant director of orientation. This would be my dream job. I would get the opportunity to supervise the orientation team that I once was a part of. And guess who was a part of my interview? My old director. So we're sitting in a meeting where he's sitting at the portion of his interview with me, and I sit him down and I say, 10 years ago, you told me that you were looking for the best shooter that can run the play. Here I am, wiser, more experienced, and now I know I'm the best shooter that can run the play. Boom! Got him! I walked out of that interview knowing that that was my job. Everybody in my life was saying, man, you got this job. This is your job. So I waited another week, waiting and I'm waiting, waiting and I'm waiting. I get an email. It says assistant director position. Y'all, this is my real drinking moment. I'm about to walk out with 6 of these things, all right? So open up the email. Dear Justin, they still know my name. Dear Justin, thank you so much for interviewing with us. But, okay, we are unable to offer you the position of assistant director. I closed my laptop, but before I did that, I deleted the email, I closed my laptop, I fall on the floor in tears, and then I call my mom. Hashtag mama's boy. And as my mama is trying to comfort me, the only thing that I hear in my head is, I'm a failure, I'm not worthy, and I can't run the play. It never crossed my mind that I wouldn't get this job. I would get this job, I would go on and I would continue a successful career in higher education. It never came across my mind that it would be a no. And for years, I was trying to prove to myself that I could run this play. So, and for weeks, I stayed in that mindset of, I'm a failure, I'm not worthy, and I can't run the play. So like most things in my life, I get lost in music. And on this particular day, I was listening to my other queen, JoJo. You know, leave it out, that JoJo. And she has a song called Billions. And in that song, she has a lyric that says, I've heard too many yeses to die about a no. Why have I not noticed the power of this lyric before? So I started to deconstruct this lyric, because the reality is, if it wasn't for this no, and every no I heard before it and after it, it wouldn't have led to some of my greatest yeses. So essentially, I was trying to constantly prove to myself that I could run the play, but I was running a play that was never drawn for me. So, I wasn't supposed to be a student coordinator in 2010 because I was supposed to go home and start the reconciliation process with my dad. I wasn't supposed to be a student coordinator in 2010 because I was supposed to lead a community of 42 future teachers and meet some of my best friends along the way. I wasn't supposed to be an assistant director of orientation because I was supposed to stay at the University of North Texas and lead a beautiful group of student leaders through our orientation experience, and even along the way, be a source of comfort for a few of them who are starting their journey and coming out of the closet. I wasn't supposed to, just recently, wasn't supposed to be a part of the orientation team at the new school because I wouldn't have gotten a chance to stand here in front of you today to give a TED Talk about rejection. So whatever it is that you've been rejected from, the door's been closed in your face, if you've been told no, I hope that your I'm a failure morphs into your greatest triumph. I hope that your I'm not worthy becomes you knowing your full worth. I hope that I can't run the play finds you finding the play that is written just for you. And as the great poet, Nene Leakes, from the Real Housewives of Atlanta once said, success is in my DNA. When one door closes, another one opens. Thank y'all so much.